Colin was wrong.
I don't get the Ravens having an 11.5 over-under win total. That's best in the league. They got a new unproven coach. I think he's good. A new OC. They lost the best center in football, maybe, Tyler Linderbaum. You got the Max Crosby mess. You got the Lamar Jackson contract. I mean, you know, if Aaron Rodgers sticks around, Pittsburgh's pretty good. Joe Burrow's often the best quarterback Sunday in the league. I mean, you're going to beat the Browns probably twice, but I think Baltimore, to me, is an under bet. And that's nothing against Jesse Minter, but I don't know. Half these coordinators don't work as head coaches. I'll take an L on that one.
I mean, Colin has been praising Jesse Minter, and now that he's the coach of the Baltimore Ravens, now he's like, I don't know, half these coaches don't work out.
Yes, it's a lot harder for these coordinators to have some success when they go to a team one. They could just not be a good head coach. Totally fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. But it's also a lot harder when that coordinator becomes a coach and he goes to a team like the New York Jets, right? The Cleveland Browns, the Tennessee Tit, teams that are just been circling the drain, doing nothing year after year after year after year. For him to not work with the Ravens, he would have to be an absolute disaster. He would have to be an egotistical maniac for him just to walk in there and just disrupt everything because the team itself is good enough because they're not a complete disaster like say the Jets have been or etc. You actually have Lamar Jackson. You have an unbelievably historically great quarterback. So you're not dealing with some random rookie or some other quarterback who you're like, oh, he's 37 years old. He's been around, this is his 8th team in 6 years somehow. Like that's not the situation either. So just that alone as your floor when we start to say like all these other we have the coordinators don't even work. It's like, well, they're going to really bad teams with that are really poorly run and they either have no quarterback, a bad quarterback, or they're just hoping for the best with some random rookie quarterback. So yeah, that's not the situation that Jesse Minter has found himself in. So, I'm not too concerned. Even if he ends up not being this unbelievable head coach and he's this elite head coach, that's fine, but it's not going to be equivalent to this just doesn't work. This is a disaster. This is awful. This is awful. This is awful. So, I'm not worried about that aspect of it. Clears throat, I don't think the Ravens are too concerned about Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know it hasn't necessarily worked out for them. I get it. I understand that. I'm just not under the impression that the Baltimore Ravens find themselves like, oh, no. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals, like I think the Ravens are like, we're good. We're content. They're not saying that they're going to win every single game and whatnot, but I don't think they're scared. And so, that's 6 games in the division alone that the Ravens feel great about. And again, I want to emphasize this. I'm not saying that they're going to win all 6 of those games or that the Steelers aren't competitive or that the Bengals aren't competitive. I'm not saying that at all, but it's not one of those situations when they're just like, oh my gosh, this is a gauntlet right now. This is brutal. The Ravens are like, yeah, maybe some of these games will be tough, but it's up to us. It's up to us. Listen, who can have any predictions about the Cincinnati Bengals? I have 0. I'm done on trying to figure out who the Cincinnati Bengals can be or can't be. I'm done with that. Yeah, that's a fool's errand. The Pittsburgh Steelers, is Aaron Rodgers going to be the quarterback? What's the story there? And yeah, I really anticipate the Cleveland Browns and, Shader taking a big step forward. I'm predicting that this is the year that the Cleveland Browns finally turn it all around and it's a new era for them. Oh, what's this? Deshaun Watson might be the quarterback, too. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. But when everyone talks about Shader Sanders, it makes me think when everyone was talking about Jane Daniels and Mike Tomlin was like, we're on to face the real MVP, right? Who was upset that there was any comps between Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson. And it's just like all the hype around a Shador. It's like everyone that thinks Shador is, this type of quarterback, this quality of quarterback, it's like no. That's Lamar. That's the real version of whatever you think Shador is. That's Lamar Jackson. So, not quite concerned about all of that. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Again, I don't get too hung up on the win totals, the 11.5, that every team that's projected to win the division and, be a legitimate contender. Now, things might have changed on the Moss side because there's been some pretty prominent trades, but all the teams that the NFL world is pretty much saying, you're going to be a top team. You're going to be a top team, you're going to be a top team. They're all at 11.5. The Bills, the Ravens, the Rams, it's all the Chiefs, I think even like everyone's sitting at 11.5. And then the next notch below, I think, is 10.5. And then the teams that you're alright, are kind of sitting 9.5. Anything below that, you're like, okay, they're not expecting these teams to do pretty much anything. So, clears throat, so yeah, which again, I think just looking at the Ravens in general, that makes sense. Let alone then if you're actually now going to play the schedule game when you're like, well, they're playing this team and that team and this team and that team. Like if I had no idea who the Ravens were playing, and in this moment, I don't remember their schedule. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I look at that, I go, yeah, that makes sense. If you're now also factoring in the division and who you're potentially playing again. Is Joe Burrow even going to be healthy for the whole season? I don't know. Is their defense finally going to be competent? I don't know. I got no idea. I believe in Joe Burrow when he's healthy and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but I don't know. And again, Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think they've made some interesting moves, no doubt. And I'm actually optimistic that they can become Mike McCarthy, all of that type of stuff. But I don't know what's going on with Aaron. Laughter, I don't know. And I already said about Shador. So it's obvious here. I mean it makes sense. It makes sense. And so you're not going to get lost in the Max Crosby. Yeah. They didn't want Max Crosby ultimately and they got Trey Anderson. That's the move that made more sense for them. Now, they keep their draft picks that they're going to use either in another potential trade or in the draft, which is I think it's 14th or 13th. I think it's 14th, which should be, maybe not this immediate huge impact player, but if you draft the right person in that situation, you can definitely have an impact. Again, maybe not top of the NFL impact, but definitely a big positive impact, for a loss of another way to say it. So, yeah, and I do believe Jesse Mter will get that defense going in the right direction. And then really the question that has been hanging over the heads of this Baltimore Ravens team has been O-line and offense and can this offense feel more structured? Can this offense feel more organized? Can this offense not make you want to just hit your head as hard as it can when you're watching them make decisions throughout the course of a game, play calling, etc.? Right? I think we've all had the experience where we're watching Baltimore Ravens games and we're just like, what are they doing right now? What are they doing right now? What's the plan here? And yeah, they believe they made the moves to fix that to correct that. So, I don't know what Colin was expect. Is he expecting that the Ravens just fall off a cliff? Because if they're not going to fall off a cliff combined with the division, and again, maybe the division ends up being super competitive. Maybe Aaron is back with the Steelers and, they're rocking in Oakland and Joe Burrow's actually healthy and the defense isn't a massive liability and, maybe that now makes everything a little bit tighter. But unless there's an actual oh my god, the Ravens are a mess this year. How are they not floating again at the bare minimum? 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 wins. Just 10, 11 wins, and that's where you're at right now, right? As long as you're not a disaster, like that's where you're at right now. So, I don't understand where the surprise is. Honestly, it would be more shocking for them to only to win like 8. If that was the case, they win 8 games or something, that means the offense is a mess. That means the defense is not fixed or they've been having the worst luck with all of those one-score games, right? They're in all these one-score games. They lose to a 58-yard field goal. They muff the punt in a tie game and now the other team just kicks a field goal and wins the game. Right? Like a fumble at the goal line, and it's just every single one-score game that you can lose. You're just like, oh my god. Right? Last year they went 7-0. This year they're 1-6. Like we always hear throughout, whether it's about the Commanders, the Chiefs, whatevers. So like outside of that type of situation, which tends to be a pretty specific situation. It's pretty unique in its own right. I don't know where the surprise is. I'm surprised by the surprise. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Baltimore Ravens? Are you surprised about their projected win total? I mean, what do you think the floor is for the Baltimore Ravens? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much.